And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control. We will stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? Hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5, and then we'll post it up on YouTube so you can come by later and do a call letter search for KC9VKV. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, where we're now featuring about 1,070 QSO-VLOG recordings. Also this afternoon, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring Rochester, New York, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get a better copy on our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated. They are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. We do use a lot of rotary selectors in our shack, mainly because there's nothing faster than a rotary switch for comparing multiple signals. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR to the FT990, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch, but you'll have to see it on our video on YouTube, so you'll have to check it out later. Well, those are our working conditions. How about yours? This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yeah, I sure do, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL, as mentioned, up in northern New Hampshire. You're running 10 dB over 9 direct, and sounds good. Sun is in and out, and we are getting occasional snow showers today. Temperature today has gotten up just to freezing, and right now it's 31 degrees. And ground is mostly bare, but occasionally we get a snow shower and it covers it up again, then it gets mostly bare. But yes, Jim, I'm comping you fine, and I got a short recording of an same aeronautical mobile built KX4 Whiskey Charlie, and he was over eastern Nebraska, western Iowa when I picked him up yesterday. Go ahead.
Roger, you going to roll tape?
Yeah, I've got one right here. Wait a minute.
I've never heard from it, so... Whiskey Charlie, yeah, copy all there, Charlie. You're sounding good, very strong. Yeah, well, we're doing, let's see, we're going 540 knots. Got a 80 knot tailwind right on the tail right now. Flight level 350 on a Boeing 767, destination Philadelphia. Departed Sacramento. Back to you, K1GZL, Kilo X-ray 4, Whiskey Charlie.
Okay, could you copy that, Jim? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I was whizzing along at 540 kilometers. Now, how fast is that in miles per hour?
How fast is that in miles per hour? Well, it's a mile and an eighth. It wasn't kilometers, or wasn't? No, that would be miles and stuff. 540. Gee, I got mixed up. Yeah, you have to add one more eighth to that. one more eighth to that. So that would be a ground speed with the tailwind of about 600 miles per hour over the ground.
Roger, Roger. Well, I'm amazed that you don't have some phasing going on. What do they say in mobiles on like VHF when you get kind of marginal or something? You start getting picket fencing. I wonder if you would ever get picket fencing on a jet doing that speed.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what you mean on picket fencing, but. No, he could be going 100,000 miles per hour, and he would still sound the same. You can't the same. You don't outrun the radio wave. Cannot outrun the radio wave. But it was moving at about 900 feet a second, 900 feet a second, or about 6 seconds for the mile. 6 seconds for the mile, Jim. But he's on 2 weeks, then he's off 2 weeks, and then he lives in extreme Southwest Virginia, right at the very edge of Southwest Virginia, not too far from the Tennessee border. And then he goes back to Philadelphia, and he runs from Philadelphia to Sacramento. Then he comes back from Sacramento, and he's a transport aircraft, and he's one of the pilots. I don't know, sometimes he's co-pilot, other times he is the pilot, and he was at 35,000 feet when I picked him up there. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. I was just going to ask you about that. What altitude he was? 35K. That's pretty far up there. That's his normal altitude, cruising altitude. Roger.
No, it varies. It varies on the load. Now, if he has a very large load that he's carrying, he will be at a bit of a lower elevation. If it's a light load, he's quite often up around 39,000. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger that. Roger that. Do you have any idea what kind of power that he's transmitting?
Transmitting? Yeah, 400 watts. That is the transmitter. It's only an upper sideband rig. So when he's on 40, we have to use upper sideband, which is very inconvenient, especially as the 40-meter band is really jam-packed with everybody home. Yeah, he runs 400 watts. And the antenna is only 6 or 8 feet long back near the tail. That's, of course, outside.
Oh, Roger that. Roger that. So I wonder why it's just upper sideband.
Roger that. So I wonder why it's just upper sideband.
I don't know. It's one of those military transmitters. And it was designed only for upper sideband, and he finds it quite annoying, and he wishes he could get something in there that would do upper and lower. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, yeah, but probably the chance of that is nil to none. I'm afraid he's stuck with that radio, Roger.
I'm afraid he's stuck with that radio, Roger.
Oh yeah, he's stuck with it. And I checked with Ian in Melbourne. I can't find him on the tape. Near northwest of Melbourne, Australia, and he was 35/9 this morning on 40 meters, right here on 40.
That's an unbelievable signal. So you guys got conditions kind of burnt into the ether, Roger.
It's got conditions kind of burnt into the ether, Roger.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Morning, so
okay. You're trying to find this thing, and well, when you try to find something, it becomes difficult.
Don't worry about it tomorrow.
There he is.
One of the other things I want to do tomorrow. But all is well here, and I'll just see whether KC9, this is the VK Tremor.
Okay, that was just after I had signed out. How did Ian from Australia come in on that one, Jim?
Oh, clean as a tack. Clean as a tack. And I heard your interjection there simultaneous with him. So, see, you don't even need an electronic mixer. You've got the whole thing right there.
You don't even need an electronic mixer. You've got the whole thing right there.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about this. But the only problem is when I'm talking, it's amazing. I cannot record myself talking when I'm recording off the air. It doesn't work. But when I'm playing it back, when I talk, it does work. But your signal is always clear. Real excellent audio.
And I heard your interjection there simultaneous with him. So, see, you don't even need an electronic mixer. You've got the whole thing right there.
Okay, how's that, Jim?
Charlie, you're doing A+ on your recording circuits. Everything is go. I haven't really noticed a difference between when you were playing back direct and when you're playing back through the microphone. It all sounds about the same. Matter of fact, it might sound just a touch better through the microphone.
It might sound just a touch better through the microphone.
Well, right now it is direct. It is direct. I got it fixed this last week.
Oh, Roger. Okay, well there it is. It's better slightly direct, but not. They're both very similar, Roger.
They're both very similar, Roger.
Yeah, I've been told that it's remarkable because it's going right through my microphone here, right square through my mic when I was holding the mic up to the speaker. However, I was recording direct. I was recording electronically, but I've got earphones on now, and it sounds so much better. So I have to thank Jim, WA3FET, for designing all this. He designed this about a year or so ago, and I'm very happy with it, but occasionally things break down. I have to get them repaired. Look, Jim, I'll let you go because I don't want to tie this all up completely, but I don't think you're going to find too much short skip. I don't think you'll find anything closer than 400 miles, maybe further before the first bounce. So from you to Milford and Rochester should work, but anything closer than that you probably would have problems. So you'll be getting into Atlanta, Georgia, the East Coast, and New England, and out through Iowa and Minnesota and into Oklahoma. You should be hitting those areas very well. Okay, Jim, I'll hope to catch you next week. And as always, it's been a pleasure. And it's spitting a few flakes of snow now, and the sun is out at the same time. That's nuts, but that's what happens up here in the high country of northern New Hampshire. Stay well, and let's hope this virus goes away with the right amount of testing. There's been very little testing, and that is the worst part of all of it. KC9VKV, if you're listening, Mike, I'll catch you in about 3 minutes down around 150 plus or minus. K1GZL. Great to talk to you, Jim, as always.
Roger, Charlie 3's that way. You stay warm and stay safe. 3's. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and my name is Jim. I'm known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days, so when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll find a QSO titled My Group Aircheck 41720. That's today's recording. My group Aircheck 41720. So this is KC9VKV listening. Station calling. I just was going through my options, and I just caught the tail end of your transmission. Come back with your call sign again.
Kilo Mike 4 Delta Kilo Quebec.
Kilo Mike 4 Delta, and what's the rest?
Delta Kilo Quebec. Dog King Queen.
Roger, Roger. And what's the name there, sir?
Roger, the handle here is Cliff, Charlie, Lima, India,
Roger, Cliff, and what's your location, sir?
Roger, Newport News, Virginia, and I talked to you earlier this week, I think, Jim, on Wednesday.
Roger, and your location is Newport News, Virginia?
Roger.
Roger, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, it's a Kenwood TS-2000. Yeah.
And GTO standing by.
Cliff, try again. You were had some interference. Try again.
Yeah, okay. It's a Kenwood TS-2000.
Kenwood TS-2000. Is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger.
Roger, and tell me just a little bit about your antenna system.
Okay, Roger. It's a Carolina Wyndham off-center fit dipole. The short version. I think it's now 56 feet.
Roger that. Well, to begin with, Cliff, you might consider getting a windscreen for your microphone. You know, those are really pretty inexpensive, and they just do a beautiful job as far as straightening up any turbulence in, plosives and, various problems. That's what I would suggest, getting a foam windscreen to slip over that mic. What mic is that?
Yeah, Roger, it's that Pro 7 headset. You know, it's curious you mentioned that, Jim, because that windscreen gets rotten.
Yeah, just faded out a little bit there, Cliff. Try again.
Yeah, Roger, it's curious about you mentioned that windscreen. It just rotted and fell off the other day.
Roger. So, do you still have it? If you have it, what I would do with that boom mic is I would straighten it all the way out as far as it will go in front of you, just straight out in front of you, and then at the very last minute I would take a 90-degree turn. I would take a 90-degree turn on that boom, Roger.
Okay, how's that?
All right, that sounds cleaner. Now, what you need to do is go and check your ALC now, since you've, adjusted the placement of that microphone. Probably the output isn't quite as much as it was. So go to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and then adjust your ALC now for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Okay, Roger. How's that?
Well, the best way to set an ALC is just to speak naturally, like you're talking to me. Just kind of look over there as you're talking to me and adjust your mic gain. You don't want to make a separate kind of check for that to set that level. You don't want to go and all that. You just want to speak naturally, because you want that ALC to be mid-scale to 2/3 when you're speaking naturally. So in order to be able to get that, you have to speak naturally as you adjust it. And the magic meter reading is mid-scale to 2/3, with a sweet spot being absolutely between mid-scale to 2/3. But you have to have it plus and minus there to pass through the perfect spot. Roger?
Yeah, okay.
I think I've lost you. Do you still have a copy?
Yeah, okay. How now?
Well, you tell me. If you're mid-scale to 2/3, that's the perfect place. That's where you want to be. Are you also running your compressor at a 3?
Yes, Roger.
All right. Well, that's the magic thing. Compression at a 3, and then adjust your when you're speaking naturally. Adjust your ALC to mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain control. Roger.
Yeah. Okay, Tim. I appreciate it. Appreciate that.
Roger, Roger. And if you get a chance, maybe you can order that from Amazon Prime or something instead of going down to your local music store. I'm not sure that they would be on the essential open business list. I'm not sure. You might make a phone call. You never can tell. But, I would suggest that you do get a phone windscreen for the microphone, Roger.
Yeah, well, I do have an extra one. I just haven't put it on.
Yes, sir. I think I had suggested that the other day to somebody that in fact you can run piggyback windscreens. You can run 2 windscreens, one over the other, and still not to have much problem as far as the frequency response, particularly on HF, so to speak. So, if you have a second windscreen, I would put one over the other, and we'll just see how it goes, Roger.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I appreciate that information, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Roger, Roger, Cliff. Well, let me say 3s to you, sir. You're sounding good there. Get that windscreen, and you'll be 100%. Always, though, even when you put that second windscreen on, go back to your ALC and just verify that you are running mid-scale to 2/3, and you know how to do that. You just speak naturally, and adjust that mic gain for that ALC to read that. Roger.
Yeah, okay, Jim. I'll do that. Thanks again. I tell you, it's a real pleasure talking with you. You're a real amateur pro there, bud. I appreciate it.
Roger, Cliff. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You have a good day. 3s to you, sir, and have a great weekend. And I heard my Elmer in there just a little earlier. Elmer, are you still in there?
Yes, sir. I need you to contact N4XRP, who is a longtime friend of mine. Even when I didn't know him, he was still a friend of mine, and he's over in Louisville, Kentucky, off of Shelbyville Road. N4XRP, a retired firefighter and retired school teacher. He's on a 7300. I've set him up the best I can. He's on a compromised antenna. The tuner did tune up, but the antenna is damn near on the ground. Holler for N4XRP and chat with him for a minute.
Roger that. Let me see if N4XRP, do you copy KC9VKV? Gosh, he's right in my noise level. I almost heard him in Rochester, though. I guess that was him, but he is right at my noise level. I guess it is like location. Maybe he is too close to me to really get a good signal, Roger.
So you are hearing him in Rochester, New York. Carry on a conversation with him for a second.
I'd have to do it by Braille. I don't have that good a copy. He's actually under my noise level.
How about in Rochester, New York?
Well, the same thing, but N4XRP, if you're copying, tell me about your compromised antenna system. Lou, what's his name?
It's an alternate center fit dipole.
What's his name?
No, he's listening. Donnie's listening to you. I got the mic now. You're in his noise level in Rochester, New York. He's using SDR receivers all over the world to hear you, and he can't get you anywhere. So, by the way, we have an AM group on 3880 AM every night at 10 p.m. It's really good for the 400-mile radius. We figured it out. We've done all the math. We wanted to invite you, if you'd like. I know that haven't got the bug to bite you yet, but we want to let you know that anybody and everybody is welcome to the 3980 AM group. And Don gets in there with this compromised antenna and talks all over up in Michigan. He talks everywhere. So thank you for working with us. It seems like he does better on 80 with that compromised antenna. He's gonna get a new antenna system and a tower up this spring or fall when this virus goes away. So thank you, Elmer, or my Elmer to you and you to me, and God bless you, and I'll chat with you later after your show. N9GTO clear with the KC9VKV vlog.
Roger, Roger. And it was Don, N4XRP, is that a Roger?
Yeah, Don N4XRP.
Roger, Roger. Don, gosh, if you can still hear me, try one more time. Let me just see if Mother Nature might have been just a fluke low, and then she might be coming up. So try one more time, please. Yeah, Don, still no go. So let me say threes to you, sir, and maybe we'll touch base another day with better conditions. You know, the most difficult thing is to make a local HF traffic work, because you know, HF moves by skywave, and if skywave isn't very, very short, then you don't hear each other, and a lot of times you have to get relays from Nebraska when the guy you're talking to is like 12 miles away. So anyway, Don, threes to you, sir. Have a great weekend. Lou, thanks for checking in, buddy. Good to hear you, and have a great weekend. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
I need you to listen to him one more time. He was upstairs fixing his wife's TV. His daughter's going to be on TV. She's protesting Frankfurt. So he is at the radio station right now, and he's getting ready to try it right now. Take it over, N4XRP. Try it one more time. One more. He's almost there. Almost there. Hold on. He's had to get to the radio. He's calling you now. Go ahead.
I don't copy him. I got him now a little bit.
Try it again.
Don, I almost got you there, buddy. Talk a little bit longer and see if I can get one of these mag loops on you. Don, I've got a faint copy on you. You're about a half a dB above my noise level. Lou, is he set up on his ALC correctly?
Yes, everything is set up just right. It's just a bad antenna situation. Thank you anyway. I want to let you go, and thank you for giving us a try. N9GTO clear.
Roger, Roger, buddy. I wish we had better success. Don, I'm sorry, we didn't make contact, but again, you gave it a try there, and I'm sure that a little bit more work on that antenna, and you'll be booming out. Threes to you there. This is KC9VKV with the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Check out, give me a shout.
Okay, there was about three there, and as per normal, the loudest one, come back and give me a shout. There was a Whiskey 2 station. Whiskey 2 station, come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign, please.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, Papa, Sierra.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, Papa, Sierra. Roger, Roger.
This is Whiskey 2, Juliet, Papa, Sierra. John in Cooperstown, New York. Over.
Roger, John. And give me your location again.
QPH is Cooperstown, New York. Cooperstown, New York. Over.
Roger on Cooperstown, New York. Well, gosh, what radio are you running, sir?
I am on an Icon 76.
Radio you're running, sir.
I caught the ICOM. Repeat one more time, please. Did I copy ICOM 7610? All right. Well, the first thing to do is make sure your compressor is on the 3. Set your compressor, engage your compressor at a 3. Move to your ALC with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC to mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 by mic level adjustment. Roger? Okay, John. Now, there's one other procedure that we need to do since you're running that 7610. And let me make note of that, 7610. I want you to look on the left-hand side of your radio to find a button marked quick. A button marked quick on your left-hand side of your radio.
Roger. We've got the button.
All right. Now, quick will take you to drive. Do you see drive?
Roger, we got it.
Okay, and what's the setting on drive? Normally you would have 50% on drive. What is it reading now?
Roger, it is at 50%. Over.
All right, move that to 65. Move that up to 65. Roger.
Okay, we are moved up to 65. Over.
All right, now that just increased your audio level probably about 10 to 15%. Now what you need to do, and be sure you do, is stay on axis to your microphone, because that drive will try to keep your audio level consistently high. And if you get off axis to your microphone, you will lose your highs, but that will continue to try to keep your audio up, so you will become semi-muddy. So you always want to stay on axis to your microphone. Roger? Okay, on axis is that you don't pull away from your microphone. You know, some people have a tendency to look around the room and everything. You need to concentrate, being on that microphone and staying in front of the microphone and not wandering, you know. Okay, I'm in the process of pulling my mag loop around to north, to get a better copy on you. And we're coming 15, 10, 0 degrees. You should have a better copy on you now. And I'm only doing this on receive. My transmit is consistently on the dipole antenna. Roger.
About 625 watts.
All right, now I'm seeing your audio now. You're definitely 3 dB dynamic range, so your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%. Just stay on that microphone, and you will notice an increase in your sweet spot on your watt meter. Roger, roger. But right now, Mother Nature's not helping us out at all. So for the circumstance, you're doing really well. Roger. I heard something about the headset. Repeat about the headset.
Set at 57%, 57%. That's due to what the headset is instructed. Over.
Don't worry about what the headset says. The most important reading is your ALC meter. Disregard everything but your ALC meter. And you want your ALC meter to run mid-scale to 2/3. Roger? Yeah, you don't want to be in the red. You want to be mid-scale to 2/3. You know, like take a look at the reading for that ALC meter. So a lot of ALC meters do not move the full distance. You know, they have a marking for ALC, and from one end is the beginning, and the other end is to the right. All right, so to the right is 100% of that indication. So you want to be mid-scale to 2/3 of that ALC reading. Roger? All right, so that's the beginning. Yeah, like I say, the ideal thing where you want to be is mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3. You don't want to be just at mid-scale. You want to be mid-scale to 2/3 as you speak naturally. The gain, the mic gain, controls the reading of the ALC meter. Mic gain controls the reading of the ALC meter. So that's why I'm saying you want to adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger? You're only about half a dB above my noise level, so bear with me. Repeat that last transmission, please. I'm still not copying you. You're only about a half a dB above my noise level. Let me go down to 100 watts so you can see what we're doing here. I'm down to 100 watts right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I give you some idea what we're talking about. All right, now I'm back to a KW. So, John, the nearest I can tell you, buddy, is just adjust your mic gain, speaking naturally on mic, adjust your mic gain to where your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3. So mid-scale to 2/3 doesn't mean mid-scale. It means you're going past mid-scale towards the right-hand side, but you're not going up into the red. You're going mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, roger that. We got you, my friend, and we will play with that. Thank you so much for your help. I hope you can copy me, and thank you for what you do. Very big help to all of us out here. Back to you.
Roger, John. Well, you broke through the clouds there, and I had a good copy on you just at the last 12 to 15 seconds of your last transmission. And so your dynamic range is 3 dB. Means your average percent of peak modulation is, in your case, probably above 85%, but really sounds good. So I would run it just like that. Your EQ seems to be intact also. So get the Gorilla Tape and taper down, Roger.
Okay, roger that, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you. We got that drive gain up and we got the mic gain up a little bit. And watching that meter, and it seems like it's doing what it should be doing. And the top is set at 3. So that, my friend, thanks again. KC9 Victor Kilo Victor from W2JPS 73s, my friend, and thank you again for what you do.
Roger, John. Yes, sounds beautiful, sir. And that was another one pretty much in the clear. So if you want to hear what your station sounds like from when we started to where we ended, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. Now, on that page, you'll be looking for one QSO in particular, and it will be entitled My Group Aircheck 4/17/20, today's date. My Group Aircheck 4/17/20, and we'll have it up in 48 hours. Roger?
Roger that, my friend. We're going to look for that. I'd love to hear that. So just to repeat, My Group 1720.
Roger, Roger. The date's the most important thing. My group, Aircheck, it's actually spelled AirX, 041720. My group, Aircheck, 41720. Roger?
Roger, Roger. We will look for that. Thank you again. You have a great day. We'll say 7-3s again. KC9VKV,
Roger, Roger. And you have one of the most beautiful radios in the world on that 7610. Just a beautiful radio. 3s to you, sir. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
There's about 3 stations back in there, and I've got 2 of my tablets down. Milford is playing games again. They do that. I wish I had a pass for them, but right now I'm going to try to bring them back up. They kicked me off after 20 minutes for inactivity. And then after a half hour for too much activity. So I don't know. I guess they're busy. They're talking about passwords and stuff. So anyway, this is KC9VKV. We're going to go ahead and do the best we can with our tablets, our internet SDR receivers. This is KC9VKV. If you want to Aircheck, give me a shout.
Aircheck, give me a shout.
Well, I'm not copying any, but there's about 4 stations back in there, but they're all 100 watters back across the country, and I'm not copying anybody much over a dB above my noise, so I'm not real sure. That was the whole idea behind the internet SDRs, is trying to get closer to our 100-watt friends. But let me try... just out of curiosity, if anybody's coming up from the Southland. And also, you might do this. Here's an idea for you. Consult QRZ with a lookup of mine, KC9VKV, and find your heading. Find your heading on QRZ from your location to me, and that way I will be able to more accurately and more quickly place this 10-foot mag loop on your trajectory, on your bearing. So if you can, go to QRZ and find do a search for KC9VKV, look at the bearing in, I forget what they call that, detail I think it is, but look at bearing, and that way when if you come up, I'll be able to pretty quickly move my my directional vertical mag loop on you, and that will help a great deal. This is KC9VKV. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo, Bravo 9, Papa Romeo Foxtrot.
Papa Romeo Station. Come back slowly, phonetically with the call sign, please.
This is Dave, Kilo, Bravo 9, Papa Romeo Foxtrot.
Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo what?
Papa Romeo Foxtrot. Papa Romeo Foxtrot.
That's a K8, Papa Romeo, Papa Romeo Papa? Papa Romeo Foxtrot. Hello. I'm copying you as KBPRF. Is that a Roger? Where'd you go? I may have a copy on you in Rochester. Come back, station.
I may have a copy on you in Rochester. Come back, station.
I think I'm almost due north of you. I'm up near Milwaukee.
Directly north, is that a Roger?
Directly north, is that a Roger?
Roger, good luck with it.
Well, Rochester is doing the best job at the moment above my my loop and my dipole. And unfortunately, probably Milford, Pennsylvania would be doing even better job, but for the moment they're down for the count, and I don't know why. It's a never-ending game here, but they're down. So anyway, sir, last I copied you was better on Rochester, New York, than on my local antennas, but I do not have a real good copy anywhere. But come back and try it again. Let me see what Mother Nature's got in store for us.
Come back and try it again. Let me see what Mother Nature's got in store for us.
I agree. Mother Nature's actually playing with a fair bit. Seems to be a little on the up and down, 100 degrees strong here. Hopefully my signal's coming up a bit. Go ahead.
Well, lo and behold, I've got you on my local antenna, so Mother Nature, I think, is trying to assist as opposed to causing problems. What's the name there?
Name is Dave Delta, Alpha Victor Echo. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, I'm copying you. It looks like about 15 over now, so lo and behold, the magic of radio.
Yes, sir. Operating an old Kenwood 520 sugar with a MC50 mic.
Yes, sir. Now, you do have a little hum. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but come back and let me hear it.
Okay, the hum may be the fans for the amp. I do have the 600 watts behind me also.
I tell you what, are you running a dynamic microphone on that radio?
Yes, sir. That's the original MC50 Kenwood mic.
All right, I would try moving that microphone geographically away from any possibility of induction. Try to move it away, and let's see where the hum goes.
Okay, give me a minute here. I gotta move some stuff around, and I'll be right back to you.
Well, now, are you running a hand mic or a desk mic?
No, it's a desk mic.
All right, if you could just pull the desk mic away from the desk, away from the radio, probably, and we just want to hear what that hum level goes to see if it's being induced or perhaps it is part of the a circuit malfunction versus a magnetic malfunction.
Problem was I had to disconnect one cord to make it work. So moving, all right, we're moving away about a foot right now. How copy?
Sounds pretty clean, sir. I don't hear the hum. I hear the battle going on the microphone, but I don't hear the hum. So I think it may be a little induction happening in your magnetic dynamic microphone.
Yep, I had the mic right up against the radio. But I got a very small desk here, and it gets cozy. So I thank you for that. I'll make sure that I've got it at least a foot away from the rig anyway.
Roger. Well, it sounds like it's about time to add 6 to 8 inches of additional desk space. You can do that. Just add about 6 inches more width to your radio console, Roger?
Yes, sir. Or maybe put it on the opposite side of the computer, one or the other. Computer these days seems to be a necessary evil,
Yes, but I tell you what, another way around the problem would be if you wanted to spend a few bucks, and I'm not sure, would that radio take a condenser or electret microphone?
I haven't actually found one. No, I take that back. It won't. And the reason being is it has to be let's see. I think there's probably a workaround for that, too. It needs a high impedance mic. So I imagine I could do it with a transformer and take and put another mic on here, or a different mic. Go ahead.
Roger, what's the age of that radio?
Early 70s.
Yeah, Roger. Well, a electret powered desk mic would solve the problem, because then you would have additional gain that you could work that even at the high impedance, which might not be ideal match, but you have the volume to overcome the circumstance. Roger.
Roger. Would something like a Shure 444 do it, or would it need something else?
Well, I'm not sure. I think the criteria would be, you want a condenser microphone. I mean, if you're going to spend any bucks, you might as well get a nice little electret mic. Would be very articulated microphone for you. They have a nice top end, a very articulated top end, which just helps you to no end when you're in somebody's noise level, or doing contesting and stuff like that. Roger.
Good. I usually like to use this particular rig for general road trip. It seems to have a little bit wider basis than my ICOM or anything like that. Of course, I don't have the latest and greatest ICOM. I have to admit the 7300s have a very nice modulated audio to them, but the earlier ones do not.
Oh yeah, the 7300 just in the 100 to 2900 mode in filter 1 without noise reduction and without noise blanking, just is an exceptional radio. It just the low frequency capabilities of that radio down to and past 100 cycles is just beautiful. And what it makes you want to do is to go out and get you a nice little 2.1 audio system to plug into that radio, because after it's all said and done, there's just a little 3-inch or 4-inch speaker inside that 7300, and what you want to do is be able to tap into that speaker and get your audio outside of that radio. And a 2.1 audio system, you go to Walmart, Logitech, $35. It has a subwoofer. That subwoofer will help you it will extend your audio range down below 100 cycles to about 60 or 70 cycles. And all you got to do is, get that Logitech, and $35, can't beat the price. Get it home, run a little real music through it, some nice FM station or something, get some audio going through it, so you can calibrate your subwoofer level, and you just play some music through it and adjust you have a separate control for your subwoofer, and you just adjust that subwoofer mix to where that bass line is just perfect in the music, and you have calibrated that speaker system, and then you just take the jack, plug into your radio, and you will be amazed at the technical audio signal of a lot of folks. Roger. So, John, Dave, one more time on your call letters, please. Was that KB9 PRF? Is that a Roger?
Roger.
All right, sir, I've got you there. I wish we had some better conditions, but if you want to hear what your audio sounds like, if you go to YouTube in the next 48 hours, we'll have this posted, and look for, you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. That's KC9VKV. That will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll be looking for one QSO in particular entitled My Group Aircheck 4/17/20. Today's date. My Group Aircheck 4/17/20. Roger?
Roger. Thank you very much. Nice office.
Roger, Dave. Like I say, I wish we'd had better conditions, but we are what we are and what we have to deal with. So 3Z Way, you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KC9VKV, this is November 3, Romeo Yankee.
There's a Kilo November 4 station. To come back with the call sign again.
Kilo November 4, Victor.
I'm copying Kilo November 4 Zulu Zulu Yankee, Roger.
Negative. It is very, very young.
VBY, Roger.
Roger.
Okay, what's the name there?
Hey, the name this one here is subscriber to your YouTube channel for a good while now, and I am familiar with your setup and what you do, and just got me a 7300, and I'm just talking on the stock mic on it, and thought I'd give you a holler today while I had a chance.
Roger. Well, of course, you have one of the greatest radios in the world. I'm pulling my loop around to 107 degrees. I think that's where you should be there. Give me your location again, just to be sure.
Jim, I am South Carolina, so I did look up the bearing when you mentioned it, and it shows the bearing me to you, so whatever opposite that would be, let's see, yeah, 322.3 would be my bearing to you.
Okay, well, my Mac loop is bidirectional, so I don't have to have the backward interpolation. I can go to 322 and get you off the backside of this loop antenna, since it's bidirectional. I was just thinking about that. I don't have to go. I can use somebody's direct bearings because the antenna is bidirectional. So I'm headed towards 322. Just out of curiosity here, I'm at 280, 290, 300, and 322 right now. Let me come back and tell me something I don't know. Oh, this is just a kilowatt, and I'm using a dipole. All my transmissions are off the dipole. My loops are just on receive, so my transmit is on a fixed dipole all the time. Roger?
Roger that. Oh, okay, I see. And I know that you use the website, internet web SDRs a lot, and I just heard you say that you're having trouble with them there. But I think the less trouble would be better just on your antenna there. And so anyhow, I might have this radio set up like you tell most people with the standard mic. What do you think?
Well, it's coming and going. Mother Nature is not at all as persistent as she could be, so I'm copying you up and down. But you did say you were running a 7300? Yeah. VVY, you did say you were running a 7300? Looks like Mother Nature has pulled the plug on us, buddy. She has been doing that today, and we're having like 30 and 40 dB fades, which is pretty steep. But Mother Nature just, when she decides today she's going to pull the plug, boy, it is, gone with the wind there, so to speak. But anyway, if you still have a copy, come back and let me see what Mother Nature is doing at the moment. Yeah, it's coming up just a little bit. Now, you said you were on a 7300, Roger?
Roger.
Okay, that's a beautiful radio. You're on the hand mic? Yeah, you're on the hand mic? Okay, so you know the way to work that hand mic is to work across it. Don't work directly into it. Work across that hand mic. Pull it to the side of your mouth and just talk across it, Roger.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That minimizes any mouth noises, transients, or, garbage that might come out. If you get a chance, I suggest to everybody that they should have a foam windscreen on their microphone. It just clears up the audio and just allows the words to go through without any discrepancies. Roger?
Yeah, and I was probably getting pretty close to the mic also, where I have the gain up enough to where I shouldn't have to be that close anyhow to pop it. So I'm familiar. Yeah, go ahead.
Roger. Well, you do want to work. You want to pull that mic to the side of your mouth and talk across it. So when you do that, then you need to go to your ALC and adjust your mic gain to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3, with that hand mic actually touching the side of your mouth. You know, you want to just have it that close and just talk across it. Roger?
Roger that. Okay. ALC is 1/2, so I'm going to have to back down, I suppose.
Mr. Echo 3, Hotel Foxtrot, Toronto, Canada.
Station in South Carolina. Give me your name, sir.
Name here is Alan.
Roger, Allen. Yeah, you want that mic just to the side of your mouth, and you want to work across it, and then take your mic gain and adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3. Not just to mid-scale. You want to go past that to 2/3 of that ALC meter reading. Roger?
Roger. I will do that right now. Let's see. I am adjusting the mic gain down. Oh, man. Okay, so that's about averaging 1/3 right there. That gains down to 13%.
Alan, listen to what I tell you. Listen to what I tell you. You want to set your ALC for mid-scale. That's in the middle, and then moving slightly towards the end to the right, you want to run that meter, your ALC meter, mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Roger that. Okay, I got you. 2/3. I thought we said 1/3.
So go ahead and just, and the way you set that meter is you don't, hey, 1, 2, 3, you don't do that. You just speak in natural tones like you normally would, and just adjust with your mic gain to where your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3. Roger? And obviously this is in transmit. Roger? No, you just like you're talking to me right now. You don't have to worry about no dummy load and none of that stuff. Just as you're talking to me, just adjust your mic gain to where the ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
All righty. Yes, it is running mid-scale, going up just a little above mid-scale.
Right, and that's, hopefully it could go just a little bit more towards 2/3. That would be about halfway. Mid-scale is mid-scale, and then about halfway to the red, would be the other part, 2/3. Roger?
Roger that, okay. Mid-scale. Okay, what does that sound like right there?
That's looking really good right there. You look to be about 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly where you want to be. Roger?
Roger that. And the compression is averaging about a 10 on there and peaking at 14.
Well, you don't care about all that. You just want to set your compressor on a 3. You just want to set your compression on a 3. Roger?
Roger. I had on 4, so I'll put it on 3. There we go.
Yeah, so you got to listen to what I'm telling you, sir.
Okay, compression is set on 3.
Roger, because two is not enough, and 4, you begin to hear it work. So my setup is I go for a very detailed setup that is very transparent in that you don't hear anything working. You don't hear the compressor sucking up cows in the South 40, and it doesn't sound like you're trying to communicate to the moon. It's just very natural, but it's very, very fat. Roger?
Roger. I understand what you're saying there, Jim. Anything else that you would like to suggest about the audio?
Well, I would suggest if you get a chance later on, and who knows what with this COVID-19 situation, but you might be able to, off of Prime, Amazon Prime, come up with a foam windscreen for the mic. I suggest that to everybody because it just cleans up the words to where you only are transmitting the words. I've heard people so garbled on their microphone use that they actually wind up QRMing themselves. Roger?
I hear you there. Okay, so I'll keep my breath out of the mic, and I'll look into a windscreen for sure. I appreciate all the suggestions, and is the I have the bass way down and the highs up, so I guess I'm doing okay in that area, would you say?
Yes, sir. I've taken all that into consideration. You have an excellent equalization curve going there. Like I said, I wouldn't change a thing. I would get the Gorilla Tape and taper down.
I'm going to nail it. Thank you. Well, I've listened to you a good bit before and taken what you said to other folks and applied it here in my situation. Anyhow, I appreciate it, Jim. It's always good to get to hear you. Your signal here is excellent. I mean, especially about two stations ago when I started listening, I was just amazed at your signal down here in South Carolina. So, KC9VKV, KN4BBY. I'll catch this on YouTube for sure, and thank you for all you do in 73.
Roger, Alan. 3's that way, sir, and thanks for checking in. Like I say, we'll have this uploaded to YouTube in the next 48 hours, so you'll be going to YouTube and do the call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and right now we're running about 1,070 recorded QSO-VLOGs, but you'll be looking for one in particular that's entitled My Group Aircheck 41720. My Group Aircheck 41720. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I'm subscribed to your channel, so I kind of check you out about every day.
Roger, Alan. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And like I say, just get some Gorilla Tape and tape everything down because you are excellent. You have the stamp of the approval. What is that? Oh, gosh. Well, anyway, you sound really great. So keep up the good work. If you get a chance, check back in next Friday. I'd love to hear you. This is KC9VKV. On the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
K0KYE.
KYE station, come back with a call sign phonetically slowly.
Kilo 0, Kilo Yankee Echo.
Kilo 0, Kilo Yankee Echo, Roger.
That's a Roger. Good afternoon, Jim.
It's Kyle up in Iowa. I spoke to you, it's been some time ago now, but I thought I'd check in, see how's my radio sounding.
Yes, sir. Well, give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
I'm running a random piece of wire and into an old Johnson Viking matchbox. I'm driving it with a Yaesu FT101EE, an old radio that's I'm amplifying it with a Collins 3001 amplifier running about 600 watts.
Roger, and give me the radio model again.
It's a Yaesu FT101EE.
Roger. Sounds a little slippery on the frequency. It kind of came and went frequency-wise, slightly low, then slightly high. Roger?
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it on frequency. Just give me a second here, if you would, please. Hold on.
Oh, not a problem at all, sir. Just adjust it to where I'm sounding magnificent, and you'll have it tuned properly.
I bet that's about right there.
Yes, sir. That sounds pretty good right there. I used to run a TR4C, Drake TR4C, and it was a constant touch-up.
Well, this thing's usually right on the money, but for some reason today it seems to be drifting it just a touch. I'm not sure exactly why.
Roger that. Well, there's two philosophies. First, you can put some additional heat in near your oscillator to, since it doesn't have an oscillator in a heated containment area, you could put a little additional heat there and do it that way, or you can put a blower and try to keep it cool. One or the other usually works.
Yeah, I suspect that I'm out in my farm shop, and it's cool out here right now, and that could be a possibility. I'm going to try also running it without my amplifier, see which signal strength is better. Currently I'm running about 600 watts, and I'm going to turn the amplifier off. And that's without the amplifier right there. Can you notice much difference? Back to you.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter tied to my audio out, and I have your voice calibrated for zero level on the VU meter. And when you turned your amp off, you went down to -10, and you were you were at -10 without the amp. So that's 10 dB difference. Roger.
Okay, that's a significant difference, no doubt about it. Well, you've got a mighty fine signal coming into Iowa here. You're a good 10 over 9.
Roger, sir. And what was the name again, please?
Name here is Kyle, Kilo Yankee Lima Echo.
Roger, Cal. Well, you are looking to be about 12 over my residual noise level. I run a very low RF front end of the radio, so I can't really give you an S meter reading, but I can give you a noise reading because I have my VU meter calibrated to your voice peaks. And when you see speaking, then it falls down, and I'm reading my noise level. So you're 12 dB above my local noise level. Nice signal.
Okay, very good, Jim. Well, I'm going to back on out of here. It's been great talking to you. I always look forward to listening to myself on the internet, on YouTube, and I haven't talked to you for a long time. So thanks very much for taking my call, 7-3, and hope to do again soon. This is K0KYE.
Roger, Cal. And what is your location again?
I'm in north central Iowa, about 60 miles north of Des Moines.
Roger, just a beautiful signal. Just out of curiosity, might I inquire as to your background? Just as to what you do you have an electronic background?
No, negative. Well, many years ago, I worked for an electronic wholesaler, but that's my electronic background.
Roger, Roger. Just very nice voice, sir. You have a very nice, commanding voice, and your radio is everything's just perfect about that now. Your dynamic range is somewhere. It looks to be about 2 dB, a little bit hot, but not anything to worry about. With a 2 dB dynamic range, your average percent of peak modulation is going to be up there around 90%. Roger.
Let me try turning my mic gain back a touch. This is where I normally run it. I'm going to back it down a little bit and see if that makes any difference. There, I've cut it back half a notch on my gauge.
Well, I can really tell the difference there. You have softened up your mojo content there to where you're about a 3.5 dB dynamic range. So you went from a 2 to a 3.5. So I really preferred the 2. I thought it was just very, very nice, you know.
Okay, there's back to where I normally set it. I'm actually using an old D104 microphone it's a power mic, and this is the way I set it up, and it seems everybody gives me very good reports on it.
Oh yes, your EQ is just perfect, and you are confusing the mic gods by being able to make a D104 sound really nice.
Well, I appreciate that, Jim. Thanks so very much. But it's time for me to get back to work. 7-3 again, and boy, I hope to do this again.
Roger, Roger, sir. 3's to you, sir. Thanks for checking in, and if you get a chance to join us next Friday, just a beautiful signal coming in. And be sure to check YouTube and check out your audio. I think you'll really, really like it. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. We got about 14 minutes till I turn into a pumpkin time. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Something Bravo 2, something kilowatt. Bravo 2, something kilowatt.
Hello, this is Rick. Romeo India Charlie Kilowatt. KB2DMK. Kilo Bravo 2, Delta Mike Kilo, from upstate New York. Over, over.
I'm not sure if there were 2 stations or Mother Nature just did a giant flip-flop station. At Kilo Bravo 2 station, come back again with your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Okay, the call is Kilowatt Bravo 2 Delta Mike Kilowatt KB2DMK. Over.
Roger, Roger. And your name, sir?
My name is Rick. Romeo India Charlie Kilowatt.
Roger, Rick. And what's your location, sir?
We are in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region here, Jim. And you have a beautiful signal into upstate New York this afternoon, and very nice sounding audio. Over.
Thank you so much, Rick. Mother Nature is kind of pulling the signal in and out a little bit, but you are best at about 8 over my noise level. 8 over the noise level. Roger.
Roger, Roger, Jim. I have you on my receive antenna, and you're very good on my receive antenna. Just playing around with a rotatable dipole here on 40. I've got it hung fixed, pointing pretty much your direction. Just looking to do a little changing on the tower, and wanted to do a little exploration and see if a rotatable might be a new answer. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, I'm copying you on my my north-south mag loop. That's currently, well, gosh, I'm not sure. But it's hot, a lot hotter than my dipole. So here I am on it, and I've got a good copy on you. Tell me again, this rotatable dipole, how does that work?
Well, this is it's an older M squared. No, not really M squared, but KL. It's a KLM version of a rotatable that was built from a 4-element 40-meter beam. 4 elements are just getting too much for me to handle as I age and doing work on the tower. So we're hoping the rotatable will be an acceptable replacement for some larger aluminum in the air. I am running barefoot today. My amplifier is offline, so just doing 100 watts here on my EZ 920. and just a listener, and due to the homework schedule for the coronavirus, I've got a new invigoration here to spend some more time on the radio. Over, Jim?
Roger, Roger. Well, I've got a plan for you if you would like to get a little bit fatter signal and a little cleaner. It would start with your compressor at a 3, Roger.
Now you're saying to add some compression. Is that what you said, Jim?
Yeah, a 3 level on the compressor.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit more compression. My meter is probably a little bit different. That should just about do it right there.
All right, and then with your, like I say, it would be a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, or about 10 o'clock on your rotary control, Roger. Just a third of the compressor's capability, Roger.
That's where it is. It's about one third on my meter scale and compression at this time.
Alrighty. So now I want you to go to ALC with mic gain in hand and speak naturally, normally, as you adjust your ALC reading to where it's mid-scale to 2/3. I don't want you to whistle or anything. I just want you to talk normal and adjust that ALC meter to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3 by your mic gain control.
Okay, Jim, and I am just about, that's about just a little over half. Not quite 2/3, there we go, 2/3 on the mic gain without actually speaking too loudly into the mic. I used to have a little bit more audio equipment here, had a Symmetrics and a Behringer equalizer many years ago, and when I got the reactive, I decided that was a little more than I needed, and somebody else wanted it, and I gave it a new home. So just running the stock equalization here in the radio. Over.
Roger, just perfect. Your EQ is just perfect. I wouldn't change that at all. Your dynamic range now is 3 dB, so your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%, which is a very loud signal. So I would say that the only thing that you're lacking is a foam windscreen for the microphone to clean up any transients that might be lurking about. That's about a $4 expenditure. That's even less than the Gorilla Tape that you'll use to tape everything else down with, Roger.
Roger, Jim. Definitely had a little bit better audio setup years ago. Did have a boom mic set up, a couple different Shure microphones, and again, that all got rehomed during my inactivity period in the radio. But I sure am having a lot of fun here again. And thank you very much for the advice today. I enjoyed listening along with you for a bit, and I know you're going to sign here, so I won't keep you. Maybe you want to help somebody else. KC9VKV KB2DMK.
Roger, Rick. Well, like I say, I think your audio is just perfect the way it is. I wouldn't change a thing. The only thing I would do is put a foam windscreen on it to, clean up any transients and mouth noises. And I think that's about less than $4. So it just, it's like I call it my human filter. And it just takes out all the things and leaves the humanity of your voice in there without any of the QRMing aspects of it. So if you get a chance, that would be the only thing that you need on that radio, Roger.
Well, I will definitely add one to my audio repertoire. Thank you very much for the input. I know a friend of mine used to be very big into the audio, and he's passed on now, and he was my critic, so he would always adjust me as I needed. So it's been quite a few years since I've had that critique. Over.
Oh, Roger that. Well, that's what it's all about is, folks helping folks. This is the only hobby that actually has that going on for it, on the scale. The Elmer tradition is just one of the greatest traditions that this, amateur radio society has.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Well, I'm definitely going to put you in the log, Jim. I enjoyed our chat today, and hopefully I will catch up with you again, and we continue on. And I will find a windscreen, and we'll see how that improves things. Thank you very much for everything, and enjoyed our chat. KC9VKV, KB2DLK.
Roger, Roger, Rick 3's that way, so have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, check back next Friday at between 3:30 and 5. I'd love to have you. This is KC9VKV. We're 5 minutes away from being a pumpkin, so we have room for probably one more. If somebody wants to check out their radio, give me a shout.
This is Whiskey Zulu 2 Papa. Whiskey Zulu 2 Papa.
Whiskey Zulu 2 Papa. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, KC9VKV. This is Rich, Whiskey Zulu 2 Papa in Garrison, New York. Thank you for returning, allowing me in here. I'm running about 800 watts, IC 7300, and a 160 meter full wave loop. I hope you're hearing me okay. You're booming in here. Over.
I'm copying you about 12 dB over my local noise level, so you're doing just a great job. And I'm copying you on my one of my 10-foot mag loops that is about 5 dB hotter than my dipole. Roger.
Roger that. So checking on the audio, I think I have it set up pretty well.
Gosh, did you have a problem? Or you might have unkeyed early. Rich, do you still have a copy?
Yes, I do. This is WZ2P. Did I drop away?
Yes, sir. You might have. Your finger might sound like it might have slipped off the key or something.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just asking if we could check the audio.
Oh yes, you have a bounce on the key out. There's a thump kind of on the key out. But anyway, audio EQ curve is just perfect, Roger.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, something's acting up maybe with my foot switch here. Sorry about that. Well, I appreciate it. I know you're running tight to 5 o'clock here. You might want to try and get someone else or not, but thank you for your returning to my call here and giving me a thumbs up. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. This is Whiskey Zulu 2 Papa. You're 5'9" plus 10 dB, by the way.
Roger, didn't hear a thump at the end of that key out, so must have been just something coming and going, I guess. But excellent audio. I wouldn't change a thing. Just absolutely beautiful. If you want to hear it, go to YouTube. In the next 48 hours, we'll post it up. Go to YouTube, do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. We're running now about 1,070 recorded QSOs. You'll be looking for one that's entitled My Group Aircheck 41720. My Group Aircheck 41720, and with any luck at all, YouTube will put it on page 1.
Duly noted here. Got it. Your call sign, Aircheck 4.
Now, you just unkeyed in the middle of your words there, Roger.
IC 7300, and again, I appreciate your comments and what you're doing here. This is WZ2P. Have a great weekend.
Roger, Rich, and you did kind of key out there in the middle of your line, so you have something going on there as far as your key switch that's intermittent, Roger.
Yeah, I think it's my PTT foot switch here. I've got to check it out. Thank you. This is WZ2P.
Roger, Roger, 3's that way, sir. This is KC9VKV, and if there's anybody else that wants a quick air check, come ahead.
November Sierra 5 Kilo.
November Sierra 5 Kilo.
Yes, November Sierra 5 Kilo. Ron, I'm down here in Arkansas, and heard you in there, and I believe I've talked to you once before, but I've made some adjustments on my radio, and I didn't know if it was sounding good to you up there or not.
Well, it's sounding good, but it could be sounding a little bit better if you would be interested.
Yes, I would.
All right, starts with the compressor engaged at a 3. Turn the compressor on and at a 3. Roger?
Okay.
Okay, I'll try that on a 3.
Okay, so you got your compressor on, and it's at a 3. Ron, do you copy KC9VKV? You just faded down. You almost are gone. Is everything still on, or did you have a power amp, or where'd you go?
Well, it should be right there. I haven't changed anything on the power settings or anything.
Roger, now you're back. It's very strange. It just, I thought I could hear you way back in there, but it was 30 dB back in there, but now you're back up. Let me hear you again, please.
Okay, there's the compression set at 3 o'clock. The compression is set at 3 o'clock.
All right, now move to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC meter to where it runs mid-scale to 2/3 by way of your mic gain control.
Okay, let's see here. All right, I've got the mic gain cut back a little bit. It looks like the ALC is right around the range.
Yes, it looks good. You're about 3 dB, so average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85. Now, do you know where your EQ is?
No, I'm not. I know it's I've got the high bass and treble cut back to about a -3.
Is it a 3-band EQ?
Yeah, it's on the ICOM 7800.
Okay, so 3-band EQ, I always keep the mid-range flat. You know, the whole idea behind the EQ is to strike a balance. And the balance is the bottom to the mid-range and from the top to the mid-range. And that's how you get balance. So if you boost the mid-range, it's almost impossible for your top and bottom to catch up for balance. So I say would keep your mid-range EQ flat and then adjust your bottom and top EQ for balance. Roger?
Roger. Okay, I appreciate that very much.
So if you could check that, we could continue on and get our EQ curve going, Roger.
Okay, I'll have to get in here. Okay, let me see. All right, on my bass, I've got it set at number 4.
That's a 4 boost?
Yeah.
All right, and what about your top end?
Okay, the very top is set at a 4.
That's a +4?
Yes, a +4.
And what's your mid-range?
The mid-range is a 0.
Excellent. Now tell me about, give me about 10 seconds on your antenna system.
Okay, all right, I've got the mid-range set at 0. And the bass is also set at 0, or the bottom end is set at 0 also. So I'm assuming I probably need to move it up.
You're confusing me. I thought the bottom was at +4 and the top was at +4.
No, the bottom is, yes, the bottom is at +4 and the top is at +4, and the mid-range is set at 0.
Roger, it sounded pretty good. What I wanted you to do is give me about 10 seconds and talk about your antenna system. Just leave the EQs alone for a minute and let me hear it for about 10 seconds.
Okay. Well, I'm using a wire antenna up at about 75 feet. It's an inverted V form, and running an ICOM 7800 into an Alpha 8410 amplifier. Over.
Roger that. Now, I'm assuming that you only have, well, how much more top-end EQ do you have left?
2 more. I can go up to 6.
Take it up to 6 and let me hear you. Treble boost 2 dB hotter than where you are to a 6. Treble boost to a 6 and let me hear you.
Okay, there's the treble boost up to a 6, and I'm still on the same antenna of the radio and everything, and maybe you're copying this a little better.
Yes, sir. Now, you would not have any idea what difference that made, but you will if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, bring up our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking for QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 4/17/20. That is today's date. My Group Aircheck 4/17/20. And the difference was walking into opening a door and walking into a room. It was that decidedly different. That articulation was just exactly what you need.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds real good. Then I'm very pleased with it. And yes, I will. I heard you telling that other gentleman to check in about 24 hours, and he may be able to hear it. And I'll also be doing the same thing.
Roger, Roger. Well, it usually takes us about 48 hours, a couple of days. It'll be there. And like I say, it's My Group Aircheck 4/17/20. So you get the Gorilla Tape out, don't touch a thing. Just tape her down.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got all the buttons pushed back in where I can't adjust them, and that's the way I'll leave it.
Excellent. That's just perfect, Ron. You know, just, well, you'll hear it. 3's to you, buddy.
Okay, all right. Well, I sure do appreciate it, and 73's to you, and you're doing a fine service for everybody in their audio. NS5K, Arkansas.
Roger, Ron. 3's that way, sir. Have a great afternoon, evening, and weekend. And if you get a chance, jump back in next Friday. We go from 3:30 till 5 on 7188 and record the whole thing. And then later on, sometimes we bust pieces out. YouTube is becoming particularly onerous these days about changing things. I don't know. They just change things arbitrarily, and I wish there was some way that you could tell them how stupid they are sometimes. But it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's like trying to get hold of somebody at YouTube. It's like trying to get hold of Oz. You can't find the right curtain. Anyway, we got to jump out of here. I'd like to say we have this beautiful close that I would read if I could ever find it, but I never can find it. So I just am going to say 3's to everybody that participated. And if you get a chance, go to YouTube and do that call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and on the QSO-VLOG page you'll be looking for My Group Aircheck 4/17/20. And with that, we'll say 3's all, and we turn the frequency back to normal amateur use. This is a KC9VKV clear.